Comments are always out of date. This is a quote by Jonathan Blow that hates comments. But you are supposed to always comment your code, right? Well, let me show you something better. Imagine that you write a function that needs to be called in a certain way. Let's say that you have to either pass both parameters or none. Now, of course, this is bad API design, and Mike Ekman would slap you for writing something like this. You should write your API so that it is literally hard for the user to do things wrong. But bear with me for a second. There are many cases like this where you need to call a function in a certain way, or it needs to be called only after or before something else happened, or only in certain conditions. You might be tempted to add a comment letting people and your future self know how it is supposed to work. And don't get me wrong, I also do this. This video is not to tell you to never write comments, but to show you something extra. So while using the function, you can easily miss that comment sometimes. Or in the worst case, you can update the function and forget to update the comment. Imagine the confusion this will create. And trust me, this will happen to you. So what can we do? Let me introduce you to asserts. An assert is a special type of error that is meant for the programmer, not for the user. So for example, if the user loaded a corrupted file, that should be treated with an error or something. But asserts arise from problems that you added while coding. So in this example, you can assert that either both inputs are equal to 0, or that both of them are not 0. If this assertion fails, meaning that the expression fails, this will appear to the user. And while the user can indeed still use the function wrong, he will be able to know that the first time it is called. And you can see that we even get some info with the file and the line that it happened. Moreover, you can ignore the assert, or if you open the program with the debugger, you can even pause the execution there and step into the code. One more thing, keep in mind that this line will only be run in debug mode. If you switch to release mode, not even the code inside the assert will be executed. So be careful not to put code that needs to run inside it. It happened to me once. But while making games, I usually run in release mode. So I like creating an assert function that always gets called. You can easily implement it like this, for example. But if you want a better implementation, I link mine below that looks like this when triggered. Okay, so whenever you expect your code to behave in a certain way, or of a variable to have a certain value, you can add an assertion there. If one of your asserts fails, that means that there is a bug in your code that you need to fix, and the assert found it early for you. So let's look at examples, and then we'll get even better code with static asserts. So in my Minecraft clone, the server will always keep the chunks where the players are loaded. I always make sure to load that chunks before I simulate the players. So in the world update, I assert that all chunks with the players are loaded. And this sounds useless, but while adding some codes to load only a fixed number of chunks per tick, I actually broke this rule once. So this assert notified me. So with this assert in place, after testing my game a lot, I can be confident that it is working properly. And the first example I showed is also for my Minecraft clone. And you can get creative, like if a function can or cannot be called only in a certain place, you can use a global variable to check for that. But I never did that in practice. And if this was cool, wait until you hear about static asserts. So while C++ compilers are annoying, they are actually your friend and they tell you that you did something wrong. Once you fix them, you know that that thing is fixed. In a language like Python, misspelling a variable just means creating a new one, lol. Good luck finding this bug. So the static assert allows us to create our own rules about when there are errors. And if there are any problems, we will get notified while compiling. But keep in mind that you can only check for compile time things. So you can check if a const variable has a value, but you can't check if a normal variable has a value. So for example, in this code, also from my Minecraft clone, I have these two classes that are supposed to be the exact same thing. So I can just mem-copy them from one to another. But this is of course bad. I can easily change this struct by mistake and break the code. So I have this static assert that will basically let me know I shouldn't have modified that struct. Or let's say you use the magic number or you use the const variable, but you should never modify it, because it is also used somewhere else, like in your shader code. You can just add a static assert here, so you can't modify it without being notified by the compiler. So if you found this knowledge useful, share it with someone like you And also check out my video about my C++ coding style that looks more like C. See you!